Welcome to a moment of intriguing introspection beyond the realms of fear, hesitancy, and doubt. Your deep dive into the questions of the ages, shared with the courage that may challenge perception, yet joyfully teases your conscious awareness to expand into this rare and unique moment. Beyond all sense of dogma, Master Lady Kira Ra calls forward the essence of I am as you are, offering accurate and timely self-ascension revelations with supportive wisdom. This is the moment to remember that peace, love, and joy are your birthright. With a deep exhale and a smile, relax and welcome Master Lady Kira Ra.
Welcome everyone to Expanding Consciousness. I am Master Lady Kira Ra, coming to you live right here from the Andes Mountains of Ecuador at Tosa Blue Mountain Sanctuary. And as we come together this evening, my heart is so humbled and so grateful that on the premiere date of this podcast, on Tuesday, May 14, which is when this is coming forward, and I am intentionally recording on Monday, May 13, because we have been in a window that has opened up a new world. And that's what we're going to be talking about this evening. That's what we're going to be teasing out of your complacency, is the recognition of this new world, the world itself, which is emergent conscious awareness. And I want to really invite you to breathe that in, because one of the reasons that I chose to record this on the 13th is because of the power of the 13. If you've been listening to other episodes of this podcast, then you're already familiar with the wheel. You're already familiar with the 5 medicines that we choose to embody so that we can have this form, this beautiful body of forms, experience of this field of potentiality. And just quick recap, we have that 12 o'clock, which is the physical, the 3 o'clock, which is the emotional, 6 o'clock mental, 9 o'clock spiritual. Those are 4 of the 5. And those are the 4 that we dance with for most of our existence. Lifetime, loop, whatever the dimensionality is, whatever the concentricity is that you're working with, those are frequently the 4 because they're so sublime, because they feel so fulfilling. Until there comes a moment where you open your eyes and you come out of the cyclical experience that is frequently lateral and spin around and notice what's been in front of you the entire time. Consciousness itself, the opportunity to be, the illuminated pillar that stands in a field of potentiality, ready to directly affect, and I mean directly affect, the explosive, and it's the only word I can offer it, the explosive alchemical transformation that is happening right now. As we have been coming forward, as we have been emerging through conscious awareness, through that turning into the center and realizing that a wheel doesn't spin unless there's something holding it all together in the middle. It needs a hubcap. It doesn't need the hubcap. It needs the screws. It needs to be held on. Otherwise, it rolls, but it has no idea where it's going. It might enjoy the ride and it might see some incredible views along the way, but where it's heading and how it gets there is random, confusing, often leads to a dead end or a crash landing. So I want you to really breathe that in, because in this new world, as we are in the absolute moment of the emergence, and this is really important, the emergence of conscious awareness itself, we are also simultaneously at a moment of really being able to look at some of those questions that have been there a long time, the ones that say, okay, so what happens? What happens when suddenly you're able to expand that which is thought to limit? What happens when you're able to trust yourself enough to follow that which is so clear and so amazing? And in the caveat of that which only brings forward joy, peace, love through all that which holds the highest, that which is of the service of others, that which offers outside of ulterior motives. Because that's the secret. That's like the safety valve on the law of instantaneous manifestation. Let's take a moment and step back. You might have said, okay, law of instantaneous manifestation. What's that, Kira? I've heard of the law of attraction. I've seen all kinds of things about that. Yes, you have. And that was how many years ago when that energy, it was like the 80s. It was like the disco era of consciousness because it's the me era. The law of attraction, all of these videos you're seeing at YouTube, all these people that pretend to care about you care only about your money. And that's what the law of attraction, at the end of the day, they're using it. They're using it very effectively. It's coming to you. It's there. There is a power. There is an extraordinary power, especially when it is said. And this is something I want to remind you of, that remember, anytime we put an intention out with sincerity, love, and presence, the miracle energy of manifestation comes in all around it. And this is important. This is where you have to remember that all energy is neutral. So just because you may think that your sincerity, love, and presence is for the highest sake or whatever, doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't actually believe the exact same thing about theirs, even if you're both sides of magnets repelling each other. It's the same energy. It all comes from that field of concentric dimensionality, from that 0 point presence. So right now in this very moment, in this energy of the 13, and this energy of the 5 medicines, and this energy of needing that center, and that energy of consciousness itself, stands the 0 point eternal presence that you are as I am. And in this specific field, you're connecting with this podcast, whether you're grabbing this at YouTube at Official Sri and Kira, whether you're grabbing it at amfm247.com. It matters not where you're listening, a live station, if you're on terrestrial radio in the States somewhere, matters not where you're hearing this. Something called you to listen. So why not relax for a minute? Imagine if you need to, pretend if you want, giggle, whatever. But offer yourself the gift of perhaps for a moment really settling into the awareness, the conscious awareness that you are really free, that everything that has sought to limit you, everything that sought to stop you is as simple as you getting honest with you and being able to then see the smile of your extraordinary beingness. That's the new world. That's what's birthing right now. And what's important to understand is that through that birth, through that exquisite birth that is happening right now, I mean, in this March experience right now, this is the unified field of the alchemical transformation. And this is, we are stepping out into the field of creation itself. And our 0 point field, remember, and let me back up again a little, just a little catch up, okay? So you are, through the sacred sequence of incarnation, from the eternal 0 point neutral field of creation itself, I am as you are, you have this capacity for the law of instantaneous manifestation because it is exactly the who, what, am, everything, the totality of that which you are. I am as you are. And in that totality, you are the 0 point generator opening this torus field of awareness that begins to call forward this energy of creation itself. And then emitting from that central experience of consciousness itself comes the sacred sequence of incarnation. And it's as if, and go back and listen to a podcast about it, it's that energy of going into and through the center of universal love, universal wisdom, universal creation, eternal limitless knowing, through the field of the experience of this, the experience of this body of form having such an extraordinary beautiful, outside of definition blessing that through that you call into formed awareness here. And as the sacred sequence of incarnation shares, I'm not going to go through it again. Go back to listen to a podcast. And if you're at YouTube and you don't find it, go to AMFM 247, Expanding Consciousness Archives, where all the shows are, and leave comments. I do respond there. And so in this sacred sequence of incarnation, as you, as the 0 point generator field, have come forward, I want to remind you again that in this field of potentiality, we call forward something that had never happened before. And that is the spiral time ignition through concentric dimensionality that began in 2021. And if you don't know anything about that, go to my YouTube channel, type it in, go to shriandkira.com and get the mastery calendar for this year, the mastery planner. It's very inexpensive. It's a donation and it has all of it. You'll get all the parts. Because right now we are inside of this moment. And if you relax, the open eye in the middle of all that has been this 0 point field holding steady. And in this world, in the field of density, it would be very much equating to like an Einstein-Rosen bridge is what's happening right now. And I've talked about that before. Go to the YouTube channel and type it in and watch the videos on that. Official Shri and Kira. And so as we are in this moment of concentric dimensionality, where spiral time has entered in, where we have been navigating this moment in May 13, 2024, is when the Mercury retrograde that literally was like a ripple, like that drop in the pond. This alchemical rebirth, this Mercury retrograde was here to say, hey, you're amazing, right? Remember who you are. Bring it on. Do it. That's what's happening right now. You are the alchemical transformation. And through that, humanity right now in this energy of the 1 plus the 3, the 13. And let me stop for a minute there. I just said it, 13, right? So what do you immediately think of? Where do you go? And really pay attention to that outside the field of judging where you may have gone with that. But I really wanted to stop there for a second to invite you to really go, okay, in the energy of the 13, where am I going? What do I feel? What am I experiencing? Because let's go back in this specific field of potentiality and remember that numerology, as most people are adapted and believe is all there is, was literally like truncating the truth of your eternal soul's existence, chopping off the 0, chopping off anything that would integrate mastery and saying, no, you're going to be limited to this. And we're going to give you just enough to satisfy that 9 spirituality quest or that alternative quest. However, we're not going to give you the totality. Then along comes the Council of Nicaea, and they just decide, well, we're just going to get rid of all of this, right? We're going to get rid of these things. We're going to kill the divine feminine. We're going to get rid of all the rest of this, not to mention the burning of the library at Alexandria. So by the time we get through with all of the basically we do it to ourselves. We do it to ourselves, right? There's no outer power doing this. We're doing it to ourselves. So as all of these markers along the way were put in, there was more and more that was put in around 13 is bad. Don't look at it. Don't build a hotel floor. Weird things are going to happen. Well, okay. Let's look at that for a minute. Weird things are going to happen on the 13th floor. Okay. So sit back, relax, take in a deep breath. Let's go in together. I want to welcome you to the 13th floor. So let me talk to you about the 13th floor and what's here. In the energy of 13, we find the totality of it all. In the energy of the 13, we carry forward our infinite presence, our infinite nature, all that we are and have ever been. In this world, it's in plain sight and it's hiding. And that's why we don't go to the 13th floor. because it's different. Yes, things feel not the same here. They might feel a little strange. They might feel a little different. The languaging sequencings might feel sometimes confusing. Not because there's something here to be afraid of, because there's everything here for you to be yourself. And in the five medicines, remember that the mandala of the five medicines rose up. And through the sequencing, through the sacred sequence of incarnation, through ascended numerology, which is calculated completely different than the traditional numerology, which is the ancient system of the Magi, which is the system that when you were eons ago, I don't even want to give it a time frame within this moments, right? But eons ago, when this was truly where you came and your mastery was assured, where there was a much more rarefied existence, the sacred scrolls would be given to those that had the honor of not only bringing you into this world, but being able to shepherd as you evolve through it. That's the blessing of the totality of the 13. The dial of the 12, held together by your infinite nature as the consistent thread. Rather than staring at it as a wheel, turn it, and now you're gazing at that consciousness with infinite wheels spinning around it. All of them yours to claim. It really is a moment of simply relaxing and expanding your mind and inviting yourself to remember. You know, I often call Toasted Blue Mountain Hogwarts for adults, but it's really for you to remember that magic is absolutely real when you allow yourself to remember the truth of who you are and to let go of what that definition of magic is, because it is a unique experience for each being when received through the consciousness that is free from a planetary thought body of fear. Is the eternal servant of all, joyfully saying yes to the experience of universal oneness and the unified field of thought that within its own self calls forward all that has ever been. And what's so beautiful about that is it's truly a divine relaxation. It's such a moment to remember that all of this, all of these experiences, all of this growth, all of this emergent nature, this new world that we are moving into right now, all of it is happening within this field of potentiality where simultaneously everything is happening. Your unique journey of self-ascension is going to be yours, is yours. The key is how you navigate it and what you're awakening to do with. It's very much a red pill, blue pill moment. Again, I know many people are saying, God, how many more of these are we going to have? Well, you know what? It's an eternal spiral. So how about we just have fun with the one that's in front of us right now and say, okay, let's make this choice and ride it out. But remember that we have chosen, we co-created a field of experience where fear is the predominant planetary thought body energy. So when you dive into this field, when you come into a form, when you claim this specific type of a body in this specific potentiality, you are clear that you're walking into a field of self-sabotage because you knew you were coming to a free will zone. And the only way you can blanket a free will zone from continually rising is to be able to make it so hard to navigate that many just say, I'm going to stop. And so remember that we are the co-creators of this exquisitely extraordinary mural, puzzle, labyrinth, all of it. And as my beloved angel, Ascended Master, Wisdom Teacher Sri Ramka would always, always say, you cannot play your way off this game board. The only way you can do this is to lift. And that's that red pill, blue pill moment, is to be able to stare at yourself in the face and say, you know what? I am tired of living in a trinity of fear, doubt, and hesitancy that sustains a self-sabotage cycle that keeps me living eternally as the victim, the rescuer, and the abuser over and over and over again, over and over again. When right now the invitation is saying to you, through conscious awareness, which offers clear choice, rather than being the victim, become the mentor. Rather than being the rescuer, become the teacher. And rather than being abused or the abuser, be the healer. Be all three, because you already are. Both of those are staring at you right now. All of these potentialities are in front of us. We are in a new world where conscious awareness itself is emerging, right? Conscious awareness itself is emerging. And in that emergence of conscious awareness, what we are discovering is that can the ego sustain just saying, enough, I'm yours. Okay, divine mastery presence, I'm yours. Let's do this. Or is what's remnant of that which was in such a deep resistance that it says no? Because that's what May 2024, and whenever you listen to this, it doesn't matter. You just need to know that this is when this energy amplification began. Because with the Mercury retrograde release on May 13, 2024, and I always giggle at that. I always feel like it's the universe going, let's just put it on the 13th to make sure you really get the message, right? Remember that the one, the eternal one, that I am as you are, that eternal one is now with its Trinity. And so which Trinity? The one plus the three. Victim, rescuer, abuser, teacher, mentor, healer. Which one of those is that one anchoring into? Because together they're going to bring perfect balance. And each will find their perfect balance in their perfect way. The gift of perfect balance is that right in the middle, right there, right in that middle, is conscious awareness. When you are no longer commanded by that for medicine journey, and you stand as the commander itself, rising into that seventh dimensional frequency of non-judgment that begins with you. It begins with that divine gift that knows that every single thing, no matter what it looked like, was nectar to your 0 point field, was fuel for the journey, and brought you here right now. Got you through listening to the whole show. Thank you. So now what are you going to do with it? I invite you to explore more. I invite you to visit frequently YouTube, Official Sri and Kira. Make sure you've subscribed. Get to Official Sri and Kira, where there are 22 years of so many resources. You'll be there for hours reading. And please be patient. We're still updating it since the departure of my beautiful beloved. But everything in there is a jewel. And that's why I'm doing this podcast, because documenting those jewels, assisting you to know the moment that's here, is the only reason this body of form is animated. And so whether we are an army of one or an army of an infinite number of beings in so many different realms, what I know is that you found this moment. Your conscious awareness is opening. Smile more. Trust you more. Join me 2 Mondays a month and let's journey together. Let's unlock even more of what's going on, because it's your journey and you deserve to claim it. You deserve, because you were born. And if you're catching this early on, I really implore you to join me as we unlock the language codes of the field of energy itself. As you learn how to speak the language of energy itself, calling forward new ways of experiencing language and understanding that which has been waiting for you to remember. Help as many as possible find it, because it matters. And it's actually began right before this show. So if you're catching it afterwards, don't worry about it. You're going to get the video. Get in there for the next 3. I love you. My heart is so grateful you are on the planet. We are building a new world. Conscious awareness itself is emerging. It's coming in whether you think you're conscious of it or not. So the fact that you're here right now means you're ready. Let it be amazing. I look forward to seeing you again next week with all my heart. Many blessings. I am Emergence, as are you. Namaste.
Bringing a hand to your heart with a smile, soar into the gift of you and discover the yoga of self-ascension at shriankira.com. Wisdom and clarity are your birthright. shriankira.com and YouTube official Shri and Kira are waiting for you to enjoy.